Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm honored here to welcome all of you to this significant gathering focused on indigenous manufacturing and development of drones. Today, we take a crucial step towards harnessing and the transformative power of drone technology, driven by innovation and self-reliance. As we assemble here, our nation is poised at the cusp of a drone revolution. With the convergence of the emerging technologies like AI, IoT, and 5G, the potential for indigenous drone manufacturing to drive growth, create employment, and address societal challenges has been more profound. However, to fully leverage this potential, we must foster a vibrant ecosystem that nurtures innovation, encourages collaboration, and supports scalable manufacturing. This necessitates a cohesive effort from the government, industry, academia, and startups to create a favorable business environment, invest in research and development, and promote skill development. Today, we will deliberate on the opportunities, challenges, and strategies required to propel our indigenous drone manufacturing ecosystem forward. I invite you all to share your insights, expertise, and experiences as we navigate the exciting journey together. Let us work collaboratively and to create a thriving drone manufacturing ecosystem that catalyzes innovation, drives economic growth, and reinforces our nation's position as a global leader in this cutting edge technology. Let's begin this session. I would invite each panelist to say a few words on the subject that we have today. And we'll start with Mohammed Anas.
Good afternoon. Hello. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for the introduction. Today's discussion is about manufacturing, its challenges and the advantages that we can take around the manufacturing of drones in India. So generally, there are companies who are working for around half a decade or few years in Indian space in drones. They have realized what are the challenges already and the opportunities as well. Few have taken the advantage of the opportunity already. Few are in a league to take the advantage of early market access, because it's a perspective of seeing towards a glass half full or half empty. So with that perspective, there are companies which are still seeing market as a half empty and trying to fill the gaps which are necessary to be addressed, like component manufacturing. In India, so far we have done most of the things as assembled by importing components from outside. There is no pure development from the scratch in most of the products. So right now the industry is more focused towards IDDM. This is what we have come to know, and where we are trying to contribute in general, indigenously design, development, manufacture. With the help of government, some policies, some funds, grants, and some collaborative efforts as well that we are trying to take within the industry. But there are challenges as well parallelly, like we don't see a very quick market adoption. This is one of the challenge, and the technology that we are in right now is a deep tech, and especially if we are targeting a defense as an audience, it's very hard to make a product within as early as possible and take it to the market. The access to the market is a long journey. You have to do the trials, and then the trials success will come, and then you have to saturate, you have to standardize, you have to take the certification, required certification. Certification will require a lot more efforts. A set of particular component or the equipment will go for the testing. Once the testing is proven and you have the certification, then you can go for the tender process. So these are the challenges that I see in general, and I hope people will share more insight as we go forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Anas. I'll invite Mr. Ravi to share his thoughts.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to thank the organizers for providing this platform for the esteemed colleague and myself to talk on this very important topic about the opportunities and challenges in the drone industry in India, which is a very important and crucial topic in today's world. Also, a special thank to our facilitator, Group Captain Sharma, for the kind introduction. As far as I'm concerned, I spent last 25 plus years in United States, working in different industries, but primarily focused on the drone business. When it comes to drone, when it comes to ISR, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, or command and control, it's quite near and dear to my heart. And so when I got the opportunity to come back to India and be part of this RFLY innovation company, I was very excited. And so I just recently joined RFLY, and I'm here and to lead that company, hopefully to a brighter future. So today when I'm going to share my experiences based on my US experience and the lessons learned that we can take, or I can take from those experiences, and make sure that we avoid the same pitfalls in India. So starting, the biggest challenge I see in today's drone industry in India is it's growing too fast, too quickly. We expect it to grow 45% over the next 5 years, which is a huge growth. But the interesting thing about that growth is it's not all in defense. Defense is showing a pretty steady growth, but it's the other industries that are growing fast, namely agriculture and logistics. And so the good thing for companies like ours is we can now not only focus on one industry, but we can focus on multiple industry. Basically, you don't have to put the eggs in one basket. So talking about the agriculture company, as you know, agriculture is a huge industry in India. It's a base in India. And so if the drone gets into the agriculture market, it's going to be a big market. But the thing is, with schemes like Namo Didi, that's set up by the Indian government, they're expecting every farmer to have a drone. But the farmers are looking for a turnkey solution. They're not looking for someone to give them a drone, someone to give them a payload, someone to give them the software. They want something that they can push the button and get things done. So that's the challenge for us when it comes to agriculture. So huge opportunity, but there are challenges there. When it comes to defense, defense is always a good market, it's a big market, and especially when you look at our northern terrain. There are a lot of areas that are not accessible by our soldiers. Plus, keeping our soldiers away from the arm's length is very important, and drones can solve that problem. But the problem, the challenge there in the defense market for us is outside the capital procurement, all the other opportunities are small. Plus, what happens is they have unique requirements. And then for small companies like ours, to meet those requirements is a challenge, because we have limited investment, and so to use that is going to be a challenge. But then again, Atmanirbhar Bharat, Make in India, are providing tremendous opportunity for Indian companies. They're keeping the US company or the foreign companies out of it. So it's a big opportunity for us. The another area that's growing is border security and state and local level surveillance. The challenge there, I would say, is a lot of these customers have bought different drones, different payloads, and so we need something that can integrate all these various variety of systems and provide them a more intelligent solution. So, and then the last thing I want to speak about is some of the Government of India initiatives. Is obviously in defense, when it comes to defense, it's Make 1, Make 2, Make 3. Those are good opportunities for small companies to leverage. IDS is another area that we can look into. And then finally, in terms of India-US collaboration, there are also another initiatives. There are a lot of initiatives that are being built. One of them is called Index X. And as part of that, the Indian companies as well as the US companies can collaborate together with the help of their government. So there are a lot of opportunities there. So in nutshell, I think it's a growing market. It's growing a little too fast, but that's okay. So as long as we can focus on key areas, align our investments accordingly, I think it's going to be an exciting time for all the drone companies in India. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yash, you would like to say something?
So with the introduction of technologies such as AI, 5G, IoT, there are a lot of opportunities that are presented to the market, especially in terms of increasing number of use cases for different industries. And the government policies and the government initiatives, for example, recently government has just started an initiative wherein medical deliveries from different AIMS are being done to the remote locations around those AIMS hospitals. So initiatives and policies like this are creating a lot of opportunities in the Indian market. Although there are a few challenges with respect to supply chain or shortage in talent currently in India, but definitely as we move forward, as new use cases arrive and as we grow, there are a lot of opportunities as said by all other panelists that we are going to grow together. And as an industry, we all have like worked together for with government also to ease out the regulations for the operations of drones. So all these collective effort is required in some areas where to maximize the opportunity that is being present in the market. And definitely India is growing, Bharat is growing, and this industry is going to grow a lot. Yes.
Thank you. Having said that, we understand the challenges are huge. Having said that, we understand the challenges are huge, and so are the rewards. The path is unexplored and unknown. That is the key factor. We all love challenges. That is why we are here in this industry. The tech is changing at a very fast pace. We need to keep pace with the world and the industry around. And to keep pace, we need strong persistence, strong mindsets, and strong backing. Now, as we said, the agriculture, defense, etc., there are a lot of policy challenges that we are facing. So my first question here is, what are the regulatory challenges faced and what is the way forward? Would you like to answer this question, Vikas?
It has been covered by Anas and Ravi.
Okay, so would you like to say something about it?
Yeah, so regarding regulatory challenges and the current compliance that we talk about, there are two major things going on right now. One is type certification. We all are aware about type certification, and it's a lengthy process which takes a lot of time to have to create a document, do the lab testing. The general challenge which everyone faces if someone have done the type certification, we are going through the process. Like we are the OEM of the drones. We don't manufacture, let's say, carbon fiber or any other component that we have outsourced. But we are supposed to do the testing, lab testing of the particular material or the element ourselves, submitted to the required authority. And the magical part about this is if another company is trying to do it again, they have to do their own certification and the testing and everything. So the cost of, at the end of the day, DGCA says, or the Digital Sky says that we are asking you only 100 rupees, which is fine. But we end up spending more than few lakhs, tens of lakhs at some point. People who have done on an early phase, they know tens of lakhs actually. Now it is coming down to a few lakhs or something. But this is bigger problem I see, and there's no way out so far. There's no straightforward way out. Okay, if you follow this pattern, you are going to save a lot of money, and this is straightforward. Now, within type certification, there is no BV loss availability. If even I am having a type certified drone, I cannot fly it beyond visual line of sight as per compliance. for that, probably new type certification is going to come, and where my old type certification is not, or may not be going to be applicable for that application in general. So this is for the type certification that I want to say. And other than type certification, there are we don't see large challenges, but these small challenges, when we are unable to solve for a longer period of time, becomes as a large problem for us. Because as a startup, we have to take decision in a very small time frame. We don't have a runway for half a decade or so to patiently sit and wait for a lot of things. So most of the challenges are small but very lengthy. So we wanted to solve lengthy processes into a smaller doable things. This is what I say about.
Yeah, it's very relevant what you just mentioned. In fact, I would have requested the organizers, if we had met a little earlier, to invite the compliance regulatory authorities like the DGCA here for this session. So my interaction with the government is they are way out of sync with what the industry is facing and where the industry is presently. So unless the government regulations keep pace with the industry, it will be very difficult for the ecosystem to develop in any manner. Would you like to say something?
Yeah, I just want to add one thing. Means I fully agree with what he said. The thing I want to add about the type certification is one of the other challenge we have is we cannot have multiple drones for type certification at the same time, and so it has to be one after the other. So for us to get a portfolio of drones certified, we have to go through process one at a time, which also takes a lot more time and effort on our side.
Yeah, you are very right. Rightly said. Suppose you change a payload on a drone, it becomes a new drone for the regulator. What do? You have already type certified a drone. Then why should you go over the entire process just when you have changed a payload or a flight controller or one such module out of the drone? So, to get the government in sync, the regulator in sync, we need participation by the regulator in such get-togethers. And we need to, if required, we need to convince them or get them in some manner to meet us and listen to our problems and address the issues. These are genuine issues and they cost lakhs and lakhs of rupees. My next question would be the technological challenges. We are not here to compete with each other because most of the technology we have got from the world. How do we compete with the world? That is my question. And Mr. Ravi, your long tenures in the US, you would be able to throw some light on this aspect.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, as I said, our biggest challenge right now is we are growing too fast, too quickly. There's a saying that you need to crawl, walk, and then run. And so to build the technology at the speed at which the demand is there, it's challenging. And then there are some restrictions, right? We cannot buy Chinese products, which is prudent, which is required, right? But then to come up with a equally capable Indian technology, it's going to take time. And we have things in place, like as I said earlier, there are Government of India programs like MAKE program or IDS program where we can work and build the technology, but it's going to take some time. And so in the meantime, means we are dependent on non-Chinese partners, which sometimes becomes challenging. There's no right answer for this. There's no simple answer for this. It's going to take time. But again, I was just chatting with my colleague here, and I'm very excited to know that he's actually working on a payload. I know very few Indian companies who work on payloads. There are a lot of companies work on drone, but we depend on the foreign technology for the payloads. So hearing about him, hearing about what he's doing in the company is very exciting, and I think that's the good start, and that will take us to the next level.
I'm audible. Yeah, it's challenging. As you can see, the drone as a technology It's been, I think, more than 20 years drone technology is there, and we in India, we've just started. And, the technology has reached here, and we're starting from here without backing, without support. It's quite difficult. And we're expecting support from the government and from the industry partners. Yeah, I think this is the challenge we're facing. And we're looking forward, we're working hard. I think we'll reach there.
See what he mentioned. We endeavor to be the best and the biggest in the world. What do you think is the way forward? Any one of you?
So if we say about the technical challenges, the way forward is only to develop the products here in India only, and a lot of companies are already doing it and has been able to produce state-of-the-art technologies, be it in the software or hardware terms. So the way forward is only one thing, to develop the products, make it in India, and promote Make in Bharat, Make in India.
Yeah, so a solution can be like make in India, but at same point of time we have to be collaborative and figure out how we can structure most of the companies in a manner that let's say, I'll take it with example, if someone is selling a drone with X price, at least 5-10 Indian companies should be benefited when one drone is being sold. So there should be 5-10 companies associated with one product if it is sold in a manner of component, software or something. The way we are going to have and this will also lead to not competing with 10 companies. They will not participate in the same thing. So the way we have to structure it as a collaborative approach. So this is one of the things that I would like to put.
Yeah, it's a very relevant point. We all have to come together. If we think single-handedly we'll be able to handle everything, it's not possible. So if the entire industry comes together, he's got payload, somebody's got motor, somebody's got propeller, somebody's got the electronics, we've integrated, then it's a win-win situation. Presently we are all trying to eat each other up, but we don't understand the value of the market. It's more than $15 billion. Everybody has got a place here. And everybody can benefit, everybody can win instead of fighting with each other. Now that brings us to the next point. Since we are striving to be the biggest in the world, it needs people, manpower. Do we have the talent available in the country? Are there any procedures, processes there in this country to support the requirement of manpower? Anyone? Do you think so?
No, I think you bring up a very important point. Means we can do all the investment that we can, but if you don't have the right people, there's no way we can build the system. I would say it is the biggest challenge, and the challenge is, unfortunately, and I don't mind saying this here, but when it comes to resources, we are competing against each other, right? Because every company wants the best and the brightest, and then we tend to lose to our competitor, and sometimes we gain from our competitor. So it's not an easy solution. I kind of like to go back to my original point. It's going to take time, but I think we are building a cadre of people who would eventually help us grow this industry. And there are some other examples, like you look at the ISRO, right? It has picked up a lot in recent years, and it's because they've gone through these growing pains and have built that industry. So I think the future is bright, but we'll have to still go through these growing pains in near term.
See, you rightly mentioned about ISRO. We have ISRO, we have landed on moon, we are going to land so many other places. There are no IIT or IIM guys there. Have you ever realized this? Where have those people come from? They hire fresh talent and train them. As simple as that, and that is the solution which I think the entire industry should follow. Why are we trying to run behind some experts, so-called experts, poaching from other companies? Is it required? Why don't we go to ITIs and engineering colleges and such centers to recruit fresh talent and train them? I've been talking to a lot of industry people. They say if you train a new guy, he'll run away. So what? A new guy, the old guy, experienced guy also running away from somewhere and coming to you. What is the guarantee he'll hold back? So the problem, it's not a problem. It's a challenge of understanding. We need to really understand, go to the root cause and address it there. So that brings me to another point, the funding. And, the subsidies, the PLIs, the DLIs, are these things really helping? Do you think is the right way? But funding is required. Who's going to fund? How long can the private equity hold hands? There are many other easier and better and solid solutions available for private funder. Why should he come to drone industry which is so uncertain? Can anybody answer that? Who would like to take this question?
Yes, I agree with your point that for this market is not lucrative and doesn't promises a lot of returns. But as we have seen from last couple of years, a lot of private equity funders, they are funding in drone industry. They are funding in product-based startups, be in terms of robotics or drones. So although that market is not lucrative, but yes, moving forward, it is going to be really huge. And as all the other panelists have said that it's growing at a certain rate, so definitely with the growth of the industry, it is going to invite a lot of private equity fundings. And when it comes to government-based funding of PLI schemes and all, so yes, government is providing a lot of schemes. However, not a lot of startups has been benefited from it. But moving forward, as the companies are going to grow, then definitely the startups are going to reap benefits. And with initiatives such as IDS and some other funding schemes of armed forces and all, there are a lot of opportunities in the market for the startups, and a lot of startups has been benefited from it by creating technology for armed forces.
Well, I can just add that drone market today is a high risk, high reward market when it comes to investors. But they're going to need a lot of patience. And the returns are coming. They will come. But it's going to take some time. And one of the things is obviously in my company I have similar challenges. So one of the things I keep telling is we need to identify some niche technology and focus on certain areas that will help us keep our operations going as we identify new areas to grow, and because that will generate confidence from our investors. Otherwise, they're not going to see any return for a while, and that might become a problem. So,
Yeah, I would like to add to this regarding funding. So there are two sides of it. One is the private equity and the private funding. Second is the government support grant. So in general, there is a startup ecosystem and government support which is being given to any sort of a startup, whether it can be a tech startup, drone tech startup, mid tech, or any startup with any background. So the problem that I see is, so government have structured its funding via incubators or some accelerator programs or something like that. And then it reach out to a startup and startup apply and then they give it to them. The problem with the, I will not say drone, but I'll say deep tech in India is they try to scale the deep tech or a drone company with the same size of a check where we are trying to target a app-based company or something like that, which have nothing to do with each other. Like if we try to, like it's comparing, some two different species at the same time. So and the species are really different. One is flying and one is underwater. So that sort of thing. So this is the challenge that I see with the government funding structure, and the ticket size for such deep tech or drone startup should be high, and in different form and fashion it can be. General fundings can just be for the sake of giving. Just we have given some funds. It's not really going to help. because the sort of process is going to be the same, but the outcome is not going to be the same. Second, when it comes to private equity, I would just like to say one thing. The private equity investing in India for drone market need a patient investment. This is what I have been saying for last few years in most of the conferences and events. Patient investment is required for drones in India. There are investors who are ready to put money, but they are very aggressive. And that aggression, they try to put it on founders, and the founders try to put it into the ecosystem, and then it keeps going around. We are not getting anything out of it most of the time. There are few events that we have done something really well out of this, but patient investment is required in general. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a very relevant point. The people who are trying to put in money, they want a quick buck back. Doesn't happen. And when they push the founders try to find a shortcut via media, which leads to loss of credibility and ultimately disaster. So that brings us to the point of collaboration. Should we all come together, locally and globally, to understand? Unless we all come together and we are very, very honest, truthful, transparent in our approach, and there are many other adjectives and adverbs that I can use here. This appears to be a very far-fetched idea. And we have to be very clear with the investors, show them the right path, the truth, so that they don't pressurize the founder and the founders don't get into trying to put a wrong step forward. So with that, I will ask all the panelists if they have to share, put this whole thing in one line. So starting with Yash.
So as we say, with the challenges comes with lot of opportunities and lot of rewards. So yes, although there are a lot of challenges, but we all are here together, the whole industry, and we'll face the challenges and reap the rewards out of this. And definitely we all are going to go big and make India great, make Bharat great. Thank you.
Yeah, I think we Indians are good in, heading for something, and then we try to make it like very common, like we did with engineering. Everyone is engineer, then IDS, and then similar sort of thing. Now we are behind the drones. Drones can take care of themselves, and we are behind them. So we will be able to make the similar situation with drones very soon, globally, I guess, not only locally. So right now maybe China is taking that position, but soon we will have more drones, like more engineers and similar sort of thing. Thank you.
I think I'll totally agree with you, sir. We're actually already doing it. We are collaborating with multiple drone companies already. As a drone component manufacturer, we make payloads, and we're just very new, and we're going by this approach only. We're collaborating and giving custom solutions to different companies. And yeah, this is our approach, and totally agree with this.
Yeah, I just want to add one more thing on the collaboration point, and absolutely I agree. We need to collaborate. Means we cannot be expert in everything, right? Everyone cannot be an expert in everything. So we have to identify our niche, work on that, and then find the right partners to grow together. And so that's been my experience, and I think that's the way to go moving forward. If I have to summarize the drone industry, as I said earlier, it's high risk, high reward. A lot of challenges, but a lot of opportunities. And the last thing I would say is, there's a saying, do you want to live in a successful era, or do you want to live in an exciting era? And I think what's happening in India, especially in the drone market, is an exciting era, and that's where I would like to be. So thank you.
Yeah, you're right. Presently there is a crisis in the drone industry, as I can safely say, because the Chinese have been stopped from selling in India. Obviously, we have to look at other technologies which are more expensive than the Chinese one that we were using. So in the end, I can summarize that India's drone manufacturing ecosystem is at a very nascent stage. but it holds tremendous potential for growth. As I said, it's more than a $15 billion industry. And we need to be self-reliant, as we have been talking about, as the Prime Minister has been talking about, and we need to be self-reliant in each and every sphere of life. And we have seen in the wars that are happening around the globe that only the countries with self-reliance are able to sustain. So the government has recognized the strategic importance of drones in driving economic growth, enhancing national security and fostering technological self-reliance. But to achieve self-reliance in drone manufacturing, we need to focus on developing our own drone technologies. But then we have to adopt from the niche technologies that are already available. And based on that, unless we start having our own technologies to be sold to the world, the idea of $15 billion will appear to be a little far-fetched. For that, we have to promote research and development. Research and development is a very important aspect, and an entrepreneur finding it difficult to, run a small drone company, a startup, won't find enough resources to put into research and development unless the government supports it. Or maybe a government-driven research and development is required here, I would say, like a DRDO dedicated towards the drone industry. Education and skill development, though there is a big skill development budget with the Indian government, but hardly anything is devoted towards skilling in drone industry. Government support and policies. Policies are very important issues. The regulator is far away from where the industry is and what is the requirement of the industry and requirement of the consumer and the user. As Anas rightly mentioned, BV loss. They have not even yet understood the concept of BV loss. And how will it come? US has today more than 8 lakh drones registered. There's more than their entire aircraft fleet. How? So, if we do not know the answers, let us learn from the people who already have the answers. And that was one of my points, since he's spent 30 years in the US, I asked him, how much of it technology can he, get here? UTMs, we don't even know what it means. Even the full form is not known to most of the drone industry. So how do we get there? How do we make the regulator exercise the regulations and, control? Then MRO ecosystem. It's not just the question of selling a drone. You have to support the working of the drone, operations of the drone for maybe 5 years, 10 years. That system is not existing. We need to create it. So I would say, by focusing on all these areas that we just mentioned and, we just discussed, we need to take giant leaps rather than baby steps. The time of baby steps is all over. I would like to throw the question and answers open to the audience. Yeah. Somebody can give a... You can say your name, company, and then answer. And if you want to address your question to a particular person, you say that.
Otherwise,
not
exactly
to the
a question,
panel.
but I just wanted to understand. If one summarizes, it comes out that the panelists are quite pessimistic. Some of the panelists are quite pessimistic about the drone industry going forward. If I draw a parallel with the EV industry, maybe 10 years back, it was in a similar nascent stage. And look at the EV industry today, where it is now. Of course, the struggles were there 10 years back. But today, in many of the segments, EV segments, like two-wheeler and three-wheeler, the inflection point has been reached. In some of the public transportation, electrified transportation also, this has been reached. And the industry subsidies are also being withdrawn by the government. And various forums have been developed with the forums for a discussion with the government. I believe the same thing can be done here in the drone industry also, which is in much more nascent stage compared to the EV industry, where the pessimism would go away very soon. So kind of a dialogue with the government, a constant dialogue, and I'm sure the government is quite receptive to the ideas and would be open to discussion and take up so as to support the drone industry and take it forward. Thank you.
Would you like an answer to that? Somebody? See, the parallel between the EV and the drone industry is really not, because the EV industry developed with some platform basics already available. A lot of electric was already there. But in this case of the drone industry, we can't take baby steps and we don't have 10 years. We have to do in 1 year or maybe 6 months what happened in 10 years in EV industry. So we have to take giant leaps here rather than baby steps. So the things have to work drastically, dramatically. The government has to come and join hand with the industry and the customer and the consumer.
Actually, the electrification was competing with the ICE vehicles.
Oh, that is a discussion, point of discussion at another level.
I'm saying the players who were there in the EV industry were all startups 10 years back. The traditional players in the transportation or automotive industry, they only came later. The Olas and Ubers of the world started the electrification of the Indian transportation industry, be it private or public. So it took many years for it to develop. Similarly, probably this will also, with your, as you said, baby steps, with the collaboration with the government, there should be possibility given the fact that the government is receptive to the idea.
Okay.
So I heard about all the challenges talking to the government. There are compliance issues. Is there any government body, like I have heard of Drone Federation of India? Does it help, or they have a different mandate?
See, the regulator is only one. That is the DGCA. Now we continuously speak to the DGCA in our individual capacities. But here the requirement is of collaboration. We all come together and then speak to the regulator, all in one voice. Because individually when we go and speak to the regulator, he says ki some industry person had come and he said this, you are saying something else. So that leads nobody anywhere. So there are challenges, definitely there are challenges. The first and foremost thing is required is collaboration. We have to all come together. All together we win. Yeah.
I have a small question. Given the fact that EV versus autos, people were already going on the road. They already need cars. They already need transportation. So now you have to replace it with a better one. So the motivation to move to a easier one is here in this case. Even the use case, like he has said that apart from defense, there's hardly any other industries who are well established. So they don't even have use cases like that. They are in the forefront now. So that's a big problem. What I wanted to ask Mr. Ravi is that given the fact that this entire stack, starting from technology to manufacturers to solutioning, then service providers and the users. Let's just take an example of agriculture. So the farmers who actually, it's the biggest industry in India. There is unlimited farms, unlimited farmers. Everyone needs your help. What if you could fly a drone over his farm, over one village? I'm giving you an example, sir. You fly your drone free of cost over 2 villages without any cost. The sensors will pick up the lay of the land and you will have data which you can help to the users. And you build a use case like this. That, okay, anybody who wants to come to the platform, use this data that I have, we'll tell you that whether your crop is ready, how far, whether it needs more moisture or not, whatever it is. And then slowly the use cases come up. The government is trying to do is just a kind of a showcasing. That drone Didi is more of, they want to enable the villagers. They are not really enabling drone industry. They are enabling the users there. So government I doubt whether they will come up. The industry will have to come up and make the use cases. Somebody will have to sacrifice themselves. It will be crores of rupees will go, and then it will kickstart. Defense will always be there, but I think the other use cases, the industry will only have to kickstart. This is my thought, but I'm sure you're.
No, that's an excellent point, and I fully agree with you, right? And so even in our company, when we look at agriculture, we don't look at it like what is government doing for us, right? We need to look at the end user and provide them a turnkey solution, and not just for the problem that they have, but as you said, maybe other areas that we can help with, right? So, like I said, I worked in ISR for a long time. The way I look at ISR, information, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, is you have data. From data, you extract information. From information, you extract intelligence. And from intelligence, you come up with actionable data, right? Actions, right? So just giving data to a farmer doesn't really mean anything, right? We have to give them not information, but intelligence, right? Okay, we are flying the drone. Here is what we are seeing, and here is what we think you should be doing. And those are the use cases that we should develop, and we will develop. Means at least that's one of my part of the strategy. Is I keep telling my company or team that, you know, we have to think outside the drone. We're not selling drone, we're selling a solution. And once we get into that mindset, I think that will really help.
Exactly what I want to say. Thank you.
Yes.
And I just want to comment on a couple of things that you and the other two audience member brought up. One is on the collaboration. I fully agree. And as I said, after working in India for 5 years for British Aerospace, I'm back in India now working for an Indian company. But when I was with British Aerospace, there were a lot of associations like AmCham or USIBC that we worked collectively and went to the government, not just as one company, but as a group. And so on the same lines, we have CIDM here, we have CII, so we need to leverage that. We need to use them to talk about the drone industry with the right government regulators, so that it doesn't come across like one person talking, but multiple people talking. And to your point, sir, yeah, there is some pessimism, but it's because we are at the infancy, right? But as I said, there's a huge opportunity. And so I'm really hoping and expecting that pessimism to turn into an optimism pretty soon. Because just like the EV industry or any new industry, you know, as long as we are committed, as long as the investors are committed, the government is committed, I think it's going to happen. Because that's the need of tomorrow, and it's not going to go away. So, so I think hopefully the next year, same panel, you'll see some more optimism. But thank you very much.
See the point you brought out. To do a Star TV network or a Geo mobile network, you need a Rupert Murdoch or a Ambani. Do we have these players in the drone industry? You get them here, the same thing, this thing will happen. You get farmers used to it. But what has happened in a recent case about 2.5 years, I never wanted to bring that up, but you forced my hand into it. There was a tender by the government of India for a huge number of drones. 6 people landed competing with each other. A drone that would cost 7.5 lakhs, they bid for 5 lakhs. For what reason? Nobody is supplying. Can you do that? Who lost? The industry lost, the government lost, the farmers lost, everybody lost. Lose-lose situation, fighting with each other. When all of them knew what is the actual cost. Well, it's not a rocket science to find the cost, because everybody is selling the same drone. All Chinese materials, same source, same price. So we have to understand it rather than trying to cut each other, find shortcuts to generate revenue for your promoters. Let us be truthful, honest, and be transparent and work with each other. Anybody else, any questions here?
If you have time for one more question, you have?
Yeah, please.
Just one last question for Anas, actually you also. So with this AI coming into place, do you think that your strategy as a drone startup, has it changed? And how are you thinking it differently now? This last 2 years, what changes it?
Yeah, so with AI, so we call ourselves AI drone company. We are not just into drones, we are into AI as well. And most of the drones that we make, all of the drones that we make have some AI element into it, whether it's AI on the edge or in the second edge, or we post-process it. So AI is required, and it is not only coming to drones, it is coming to all of the things. So eventually it is coming to drone as well. And we are trying to take the early move advantage in that segment, where we are trying to integrate the more fascinating features to a drone where user can adapt it very easily. So we are trying to think from the user perspective and trying to solve the problems which have not been solved due to technological limitation. And if we can integrate the AI and solve those set of things and present it to a customer, we see the reaction, and that leads to the point which you have said, somebody has to sacrifice. So we are trying to burn some money in that direction and see if that sacrifice will turn something good or not. Thank you.
Yeah, so AI have made a buzz in last 1 to 2 years, but since the start of Techical, AI has been at the core of our innovation. So right from designing of the drones, because we design, develop, manufacture drones at our facility, right from designing of the drones to in operations also, we use by AI-based using AI-based path planning and all those aspects in operations, and at the customer end as well, we are using AI wherein that number of drones that are present at a particular location all depends on the demand from of the users or the customers, and based on so everything that we do has AI integrated in each and every aspect of it. Thank you.
Anybody else? One last question. Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That brings us to a very profitable discussion, I would say, because we are in business, so we work about profits and losses, and hope we move towards the right kind of future. Thank you very much.